we want to ask you something that raises our curiosity. Do you usually give value to the promises? If you invest time, money, and trust in someone, do you accept that they promise to give you something that you have dreamed about for a long time? Well, if you are doubting too much, you can be wrong. We warn you because LeBron James was the one who one day fulfilled his promise to Ohio, giving the NBA championship to the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2015-2016 season. We'll tell you how the Cavs got the ring of their history after tying at 89 in the last minute, but also, if you stay until the end, we'll tell you how some fans got angry with the main hero of this conquest, LeBron James, and filled him with insults. Sounds a little unfair, doesn't it? Let's jump right into the video. Rarely can a basketball stadium be seen as a battleground, almost literally, but so epic and without exaggeration was how the mythical Oracle Arena ended up being seen after the game in which the Cavaliers won their first NBA ring, no less than against the Warriors. Blood, sweat, and tears flowed from the bodies and eyes of everyone, but especially from the top leader of their squad, the brilliant LeBron James, who seemed not yet aware of what they had achieved. Not since 1978 had anyone won a ring, let alone come back from a 3-1 final to win 3-4. The impossible, the unimaginable, was achieved by these basketball fighters who, paradoxically, beat those who bore the name Warriors on their shirts. The averages of the last two games were the following, taking into account that the first one was a defeat. In 2015, 35.8 points, 13.3 rebounds, 8.8 assists, 1.3 steals, and 0.5 blocks. And in 2016, 29.7, 11.2, 8.8, 2.5, and 2.2. Also, never before has a player led a complete playoff series, let alone a final, but in 5 statistical categories. LeBron won his 3rd MVP of finals, but beyond that, out of all the meaning we can understand at a glance, we have Cleveland. Cleveland was 52 years without a title, obviously none of the Cavaliers. So far, until this happy ending, to a feat that will be remembered forever, and to this player who has transcended into more than he ever was. This says a lot about this sport that tells stories of its own like no other, and of this competition that can hardly go any further. Above all, as a warrior from another time, LeBron James, who became the Dark Lord of the NBA just when we all thought he would become part of history without giving us any more surprises, in what seemed to be the logical twilight of a formidable career. But going into the game, with 1 minute to go, the last minute of the last game of the season, the score was 89-89, and the total for the final, 699-699. No one had scored in more than 3.5 minutes, and every possession, after 12 missed in a row between the two teams, was a desperate situation that screamed for heroes to give them epic, to draw a smile and stop hearts in the crowd. Curry and LeBron took turns at making mistakes until Kyrie Irving, who has discovered himself in this playoff, scored a historic triple with 53 seconds to go, and then Steph Curry missed again and left the game hanging on LeBron's final free throw. The Warriors fell on their own ground, broken up in a final that depended on a shot, a stroke of genius, or a decision move. It's a tragic ending for the year of 73-9, the year of 88 victories, the year of the triple throwing records, and the rest of his saga. Does the suspense kill you? Well, keep in mind that the Warriors spent the last 4.5 minutes without scoring, hesitating between choosing to go around the court or trusting the Splash Brothers. But none of that worked. Curry stayed at 17 points and 4 out of 14 in 3-pointers. Klay Thompson at 14 and 2 out of 10. Between the two, 6 out of 24. And not a single one when the whole season depended on what they did. With the absence of Bogut, with Iguodala walking badly but doing his best, with too many players disoriented, these worn-out Warriors missed everything when they only needed to score a shot or 2 more. Just that to ensure the best season ever. But that's basketball, a game of mirrors in which Draymond Green has a very bad reflection with 32 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, and 6 out of 8 in 3-pointers, and a worthy game that during the whole summer will only make him regret his sanction in Game 5. And finally, when the final seemed from the start destined to end in 4-1, it became a nightmare for his team and a lesson for the extraordinary player. The Cavs, going back and forth on the court, were 87-83 at 5 minutes and 37. The Warriors scored only one more basket, winning by sheer endurance and pure survival instinct. Coach Steve Kerr had never lost 3 games in a row with his team, and his Warriors closed the playoffs with the same losses and one more at home at 9-3, then in the entire regular season at 9-2. A punishment that, while it doesn't seem very fair, doesn't leave a deserving deserter when one contemplates the campaign of the unlikely winner. The Cavaliers continued to play the game, conveying the idea that they would do it as long as they had the strength. Therein lay their confidence in giving their all, without their head getting in the way of the mission. possession. They gathered all the energy they had, physical and mental, and based their game on the schemes of the great coach Tyronn Lue, another great and meritorious winner in these playoffs. The balls went from LeBron's hands to Irving's, and if not, to rebounds, and if not, to defense, and always to start again as far as the forces yield, if it will. However, LeBron was not up to the challenge of the previous 2 games, but this one was not as suitable for his type of game. He finished with 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. He missed a lot of shots and lost 5 balls, but he put in 3 blocks that were really worth it. The last one, which seems superhuman, recovered a counterattack by Iguodala that, with a knot in the public's throat, almost relieved the Warriors. In that impossible block, it was a perfect example of what LeBron means in games like this one. He didn't even have to promise this championship. The impossible ended up being that he didn't make it, but the Cavaliers were limited to performing well in a cross-section of individual actions, almost without strength and almost all without aim. In their survival plan, they were clearer on how to reach just the last few points of the final. The Warriors forgot to be what their name means and turned to reckless shooting. Okay, maybe the Warriors were that too. And they finally gave up at the end to a Kyrie Irving who scored 17 of his 26 points in the second half and did exactly what he had to do, hold LeBron. Behind them, Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, and even Kevin Love did what was needed to get the Cavs to the finish line. Exhausted, but ahead of an opponent without their depth, who got discouraged every time a pivot like Ezeli Verahau passed through the court. And so it was that the Warriors were left frozen, unable to apply all the good they had before the break with their 49-42, and without strength for the comeback of the dangerous 61-68. Curry and Thompson didn't have their usual runs, so necessary to win the game, nor a pair of saviors triple, nor fast runs to score under the basket. In the last quarter, there was nothing but heartache and sadness, even before time. Perhaps they knew they were facing an opponent with nothing to lose, and that was the motivation they needed themselves, something that would serve to cut the miracle that was coming. Even LeBron's block on Iguodala and Irving's triple on Curry, the 2 moves that will remain forever after an epic final, and as we said, worthy of a pitched battle. One that would have a clear and undeniable winner, and by the hand of LeBron James. But why the attacks on LeBron James in the midst of all the excitement? Let's see. When the Warriors were leading the series 3-1, with the possibility of winning their 2nd consecutive championship at home in the Oracle Arena, they had to do it without one of their most important players. Golden State star Draymond Green was suspended for the 5th game of the NBA Finals after the league assessed a flagrant foul for his fight with Cleveland's LeBron James. The NBA announced the decision retroactively on Sunday, understanding that Green committed a technical foul on James on the play at the end of the 108-97 victory at Golden State on Friday. A statement announcing the penalty said Green, quote, made unnecessary contact with a blow from his hand to James's groin, end quote. Green has been at the top of the troubles for most of the postseason. This is his 4th flagrant foul, which resulted in automatic suspension. He also had 5 technical faults and was fined $25,000 for kicking Steve Adams of Oklahoma City in the groin during the Western Conference Finals. Kiki Van de Vega, the NBA's executive vice president of basketball operations, said, "You have to do what you think is right for the play, and unfortunately, Draymond put himself in this position, but there's no way that's an acceptable act." Warriors coach Steve Kerr tried to get Green to manage his emotions, but instead he got, after the suspension, a big gap that he won't be able to fill so easily at a crucial time. He was averaging 15.3 points this postseason, 3rd on the team behind Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, and a leading team with 9.6 rebounds and nearly 6 assists. Green called Friday's incident things that are said on the court. However, James considered it inappropriate and said he and his teammates reviewed the video footage. "Draymond just said something I don't agree with," James said. "I'm fine with the competition. I'm fine with that, but some of the words that came out of his mouth were a little bit excessive, and being a guy with pride, a guy with 3 kids and a family, things of that nature, some ones are exaggerated." And so, why the attacks on James, you might ask? Well, it only takes one spark to ignite the gunpowder and set off an explosion. So some people thought good old LeBron was playing with fire in that situation with Green. Could anyone blame him if he wasn't the one who got burned? See, you definitely remember this Cleveland Cavaliers championship, down 3-1 in the series, and they came up victorious. Geez, what a story. If you enjoyed the video, please leave us a like and let us know in the comments section below. If not for the Draymond Green suspension, do you think that the Cavs could have come back from 3-1? Thanks for watching our channel. See you next time.